Okay, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and others of Great Millstone. We also want to say Shalom Barakim, Labakarim, Shalom Shalom. That's peace and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, this is the gospel that we preach to. That's our audience. Okay. Now, today we're going to be discussing a topic going into the false pastors, all right, the false pastors of Israel, all right, because that's really what that's actually a prophecy, actually, all right, that the Lord talked about there being many false prophets, all right, coming into His name and saying all manner of evil and all manner of nonsense, all right, towards the gospel, all right, or it could be a wayward doctrine. Which is a mixture of whether it be of this gospel or the gospel of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, or it could be what Christianity, Catholicism, right, and Islam, and all these other worldwide religions. This is totally false. All right, and we're going to be in those times. All right, in those future prophecy that during the time of the last days, which we are in now, that there's going to be a lot of wayward doctrines. All right, a flood of all types of crazy, outlandish type doctrines. You know.
Yeah, 1 John 2:20. But ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which that unction is given to the elect. Okay, the elect is the ones that have that ability to understand the scriptures and stuff like that. And these other people that you see out here spreading false doctrine, whether it be Christianity or another Hebrew Israelite camp that just teaches maybe 90% truth, but then 10% lies, you know, they don't have the unction.
Or they don't know it.
Yeah, or they don't know it, you know. They don't have, but ultimately they don't have the unction, you know. They don't have that anointing from the Lord to know how to break down the scriptures and such. Okay.
Yes. Matthew.
Yep, Matthew chapter 7:15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing.
Beware of false prophets, all right, which come in sheep clothing. Because in reality, they're not who they appear to be. All right. Because the thing is, hey man, there's whether they be sincere or not, really they're just total demons. All right. They're set up to be stumbling blocks towards the elect of the Most High. All right. The chosen out of all the 12 tribes of Israel.
Something belongs to the 2/3,
All right.
not to the elect.
Right. Because the thing is, because the Lord laid stumbling blocks. All right. And even without false prophets, the scriptures itself, the name of the Lord itself, is a stumbling block to these people. It's a huge stumbling block. All right. You might even have people that preach the false name of the Lord. All right. They may know the Israelites, but they might believe in a false name like a Haya or something. These are all outlandish doctrines. All right. All right. Spirits. All right. Because obviously we have of course by faith we believe that we have the Holy Spirit, like the brother read in what was that, John? The book
First
of John.
John.
Yeah, the book of First John, where we have the unction and we know all things. We don't know partly of it. We don't know half of it. We don't know more than half. All right. We know all of it. You know. As it is written, the Lord cometh in the volume of the book. Well, the Spirit of the Lord, we believe that the Spirit of Yahweh Shai is working with us, and so we know all things, Old Testament, New Testament, including the Apocrypha. All right, and we're in those times. You best believe that you're gonna have people saying all types of manner of evil and blasphemy. All right, specifically blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. You actually have people out there thoroughly believing that they might be Hamashiach. You know. But that's anti-Hamashiach. That's anti-Messiah. All right, you're going against him. All right, that's totally contrary towards the scriptures. You know, people actually believing that wholeheartedly that they are the comforter or something. You know, things like that. That's blasphemy, man. That's crazy. You know. So I have a precept right here because now all hope is lost. All right, like I said, these are just all stumbling blocks, right? In this big obstacle course that the Lord set His men through. This is Jeremiah 3:15. And I will give you, pastors, according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. All right, so as of right now, as we know, we're in the last days, right? So, the Lord has set up pastors, best believe, according to His heart. So we have faith. We know that out there right now, on planet Earth, as we know it, right, the Lord has set up men that actually have that unction, all right, that actually know the scriptures and is actually teaching out of the Bible, and in the names and the true names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, all right, that's teaching the Bible, all right, and they're actually teaching according to His heart. That's gonna feed you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as sheep, you know.
Yeah, let me reread this one, Matthew.
Yeah.
I didn't get to say anything. Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves. And these false prophets, the brother mentioned some of them, man. You got wicked ones out here claiming to be the God sent comforter, man. That's wicked as hell, man. That's incorrect, man. All right, because we know that's the spirit of Yahushua, man. Okay,
Yep.
that's not some man. That's the spirit of Yahushua, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what? That's one example of a false prophet. Another example is these Christian pastors. All right, what do they call them in Islam? Imams. I don't know.
Something like that.
The Muslims, whoever, man, anybody coming to you with that Allah stuff. All right, Littleworth.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Basically anybody that's coming out here trying to teach you a wayward doctrine that's not of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Bahashim or Kakwadash. Point blank. Period. All right.
Or they could be starting a business, aka Cash App, right? Pastors that only seeking to seek what's in your pockets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than actually godly edifying and actually doing this out of sincerity of heart.
Mm-hmm.
Even by then you don't even know the name of the Lord.
Yeah. Right.
You do err not knowing the scriptures.
Yep.
So
Did you get Jeremiah 23?
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I did not. Come on, so if I can get this precept as well. This is Mark chapter 13 verse 22. For false anointed and false prophets shall rise and shall show signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. If it were possible, they would actually. Hey, I'm not even gonna say it, but I don't want to contradict the scriptures. All right, but even if it were possible, they would deceive the elect. All right,
Which they won't.
all types of doctrine. All right, literally.
Yeah. If I could say real quick, you even got, for example, you got those in what was it, HODC, HOI. I don't know, the guys in New York that's under Zabak. You got them. They'll teach you some truth. They'll teach you that you're an Israelite. They'll be able to break down the tribes, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But they won't tell you what the microchip is, which is part of the doctrine.
Yes.
That's actually a huge part of the doctrine. Because, real quick, I just want to make mention, because we're talking about false prophets and false teachers and stuff like that, right? Those men aren't pastors sent by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They look it, they got the diadems, they got the handcuffs, you know what I'm saying? They got the, they have the nice garments and stuff like that, but they don't have the 100% truth. They don't have those things spiritually, like how the Lord's anointed do. All right, we may not have all those flashy things, but we have the 100% truth, man.
Yeah,
If I could say, really quick, I want to finish. Because, for example, I mentioned the microchip. That's a huge part of the doctrine, because when you read in the book of Revelation, it speaks about the elect getting the victory over the beast and his image and the mark. So if they don't have that, then they don't got it, man. That's a huge part of it. Just one example.
Yeah, if I may add, actually, because they made that down the doctrine of the milk like perfectly. They can have that down, which that is part of the truth. Knowing you're Israelite, knowing that you descend out of the 12 tribes, or you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Hey, some camps teach otherwise. All right, some camps they go really off, saying that America's not Babylon, or saying that the chip is, the brother mentioned that the mark of the beast is not the chip. All types of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All types of stuff, and but this is all prophecy. All right?
Yeah, because you got those false anointeds. They think they're anointed. They weren't sent by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Hence they don't preach the 100% truth. They don't, going back to the unction. They don't have that.
Yeah, and it's heavy judgment for that. Heavy judgment for
Jeremiah.
lies.
Jeremiah 23:1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord.
Mm-hmm. And you better believe also that you could actually have the elect actually be in these other camps. All right, but guess what? They are the elect at the end of the day, so they're actually pure destined to eventually come into the light of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, because ultimately, even like I got that precept out before in the book of Jeremiah. All right, the Lord right now, remember, He set up men. All right, that are actually teaching according to His heart. So right now, those men are out there. All right, and we believe, all right, starting with the apostles on down to the elders of Great Millstone, that they have to be the doctrine of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. It would have to be that doctrine according to the Lord's heart. It have to be. We're the only one that is consistent, diligent. All right, never changing or being fickle with the doctrine. All right, we the 100% truth. It would have to be Great Millstone and anyone else teaching the same doctrine, and of course giving the double honors where it's due.
Yeah, which we have faith that our elders and apostles have the true 100% true doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakak Wadash.
Hey, as it is written, bro, they have to be out there.
Yeah, and their fruits show it, man. Okay, they can break down the scriptures. All right, there's hey man, there's never been a time where I haven't had a question that couldn't be answered, man. Okay, about the scriptures, man, about the true doctrine. And we can say that, and we say that with faith and with humility, man, because we really believe that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai Bahashim Kodash is something with them, and that they're breaking it down correctly unto us, man. They are the Lord's pastors, where it says, like you read in Jeremiah, that He will give us pastors according to His heart. We believe that those are the men.
Yeah, who's pushing the doctrine of faith?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who's preaching the 100% truth?
The spirit of prophecy.
Yeah.
The exact same spirit our Lord is coming in. The exact same mind. The exact same law of the heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Is that it?
Alright, that was in Jeremiah.
Okay.
Did you want to get pastor on that?
We can hold that off. Did
Yeah.
you get that in Jeremiah though?
I read it already.
Okay, you can continue then.
I already had Isaiah.
Go ahead.
Isaiah 29 and verse 10.
You just read on down.
Yeah, for the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes, Salakia, the prophets and your rulers. The seers hath he covered, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. If I can say real quick, because, for example, you can go up to like a so-called Christian, preacher, and you ask them to break down Revelations, they might tell you that the book is sealed. And if they do try to break it down, they break it down all the way wrong. They add, they take away, they break down things incorrectly, which the scriptures tell you not to do. Okay? Which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. Right. Because, for example, the scholars, they can write commentaries all day about the scriptures. They might even know some things that's right. But guess what? They will never have that. They don't have that unction. All right. If the Lord isn't supping with them, they will never have that unction, and they're not going to be able to break this down to you. All right. It's sealed to them. But guess what? We know that when Yahweh Shai,
No, you can make your point. I just want to get.
Yeah, we know that when Yahweh Shai made that sacrifice, what, man? The scriptures say he was worthy to unloose the seals, right? Well, guess what? Did he not give the understanding unto the disciples later turned apostles? Back then, all right. Do not our elders and apostles do not they have the ability to break this down to you?
Yeah, forget a quick precept.
Mm-hmm.
This is Amos chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. And those servants, those prophets, are the pastors. All right, they're feeding the flock as they're supposed to do. All right, same as us. All right, same as the brother. Same as whoever watches this video. All right, the hopeful elect. They're gonna be those pastors, and like the brother mentioned too. All right, the thing is, as sheep, you have to actually feed your sheep accordingly. All right, you can't be feeding them all types of crap, all types of wayward doctrine. You're gonna scatter the flock, and the Lord clearly spoke against that. Woe unto them to do so. All right, death and destruction to those that do so, because guess what? Ultimately, the elect, they're not gonna fall under that stumbling block, under that trap.
Right.
They're gonna, the Lord's gonna have it to where they're gonna wiggle their way out of it, so to speak.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it says in Romans that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them that are called according to His purpose.
Yeah, and if I may say, obviously that secret, like the brother mentioned, the seals, that has to be unlocked by the prophets. They actually have to understand it. Remember, the Lord revealed His secrets to His servants, the prophets. The scriptures, the understanding of it, that's a secret. And it can't even be found. It can't even be bought. You have to be chosen to understand it.
Yep.
Truth be told.
That's right. If I could read this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaiah 29 and 12. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Yeah, because what we're reading is what? That the, Salakia, basically, those that the Lord, whom the Lord hath poured the power, the deep sleep upon, they're not going to be able to break this down to you, all right? And that's how we know we're of the light, all right? Because through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, our elders and apostles, with the Lord supping with them, then bringing it down to us, and the Lord opening our eyes to this knowledge, we're able to understand the scriptures and break it down to you. Of course, at the proper time, we can't break down the whole thing, when we're babes.
Of course.
But, all of it. But what? We're slowly but surely growing and learning how to break this down. All right? We're slowly learning, of course, being built up through the sincere milk. But that's the thing. You see, we don't have that spirit of deep sleep. Okay, the Lord has awoken us up, but these other people in the world, the false preachers and the false prophets and the false teachers and stuff like that, they have the spirit of deep sleep because they're trying to break it down to you, but they can't.
Yeah, the Lord gave them what's that? False illusions. Giving them breakdowns to precepts that aren't true. But the Lord had it to where they gave them the faith, false faith, and what's that spirit to cleave onto that doctrine, that's just plain wrong. You know, and they might believe it, but brother might correct them, you know, and they're just set onto it, you know, like nah, bro, this is the right doctrine. You know?
That's so you can tell who's sincere or not, because you can rebuke somebody that's going off, but if they do right, then they're good. You know. Verse 13.
Okay.
Yeah, Isaiah 29:13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as his people draw near me with their mouth and with draw near me with their mouth and with their lips to honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men.
Yeah, the precepts of men. One example would be the heaven and hell doctrine, and it's even worse because if you're even under this trap, and the actual man of the Lord tells you and rebukes you on that and actually corrects you, then like, no, this is the way. All right, I can prove it to the scriptures. All right, heaven and hell isn't real. Reincarnation is a thing, and they still reject it. Then Lord clearly gave you up to these false doctrines. All right, it's clear as day.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the Lord has power over these things. All right, not us. All right. Even by then, the elect were preordained to be perfect, to never have that corrupt mind state. All right, if they did, the Lord healed them from that, and then they returned to the true doctrine.
If I could say,
Mm-hmm.
it says, with the but have removed their fear towards me is taught by the precept of men. Yeah, you see, especially, you know, of course, Israelites, because we're only talking about Israelites here. That their fear of the Lord is taught by the precept of men. Man, they're not taught to fear the Lord properly. You know, they think fearing the Lord is just saying, "Oh, I love you, God." Remember that the Pop Lock and Cholo, "We love you, Jesus. We love you, God."
Yeah, they established on righteousness.
Yeah, that he thinks that's honoring the Lord. He thinks that's the fear of the Lord. He thinks that's doing what you're supposed to be doing. That he thinks that's doing the right thing. That's another illusion right there, man.
Yeah.
You know, you see him pop locking like a monkey at an Edomite's church, and the Edomite patting him on the back and shit.
Yeah, if I can get this real quick.
You know,
Yeah, this is 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressively, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Bro, and one of those things is believing that Edomites have salvation. It's like, I couldn't even finish the sentence, but like things like this. Remember, the Lord actually gave them the faith and the spirit to believe on these things, and they said, "Yep, that's the way." You know, Edomites will be in the.
Yeah, thinking another thing that these people believe, you know, reading John 3:16 and thinking that applies to everybody.
Yeah, bro, that's stumbling blocks, bro.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, but the point is, going back to the whole, you know, the false anointeds and the false teachers, the false pastors and the false prophets, man. Hey, man, those men that teach those things is whom we're talking about. Those are those false prophets. Those are those pastors that scatter the sheep. You know, those are the ones that are breaking down the scriptures wrong. Those are the ones that are adding and taking away. All right, the ones that aren't teaching the 100% truth, man.
Yep.
You know, that's why we're mentioning the whole, you know, false doctrines, these illusions, because these things are being taught by men. And like
pastors.
and like our captain, you know, Shar Kasap Magan, you know, he said that spirits teach doctrines. These men, all right, they're possessed by spirits teaching these false doctrines, man, teaching these false ways. Okay, and that's what we're pointing at. We're saying, look, like the scriptures say, mark them which cause division, right?
Yes.
We're saying, look, that guy's going off. Don't go that way. This is the correct way. This is the clean path. All right, it's the straight gate, but it's the clean way and the only way to salvation. Okay.
Yeah, if I matter real quick, because you know every person is possessed by an idea or a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even the men of the Lord, they're possessed by the Holy Spirit. You
That's
know,
right.
and it's the same thing on the left hand side with these other demons out here, man. They say the doctrines of devils, the doctrine that is totally contrary towards the Lord. All right, and even then, it's like towards even with like the attitude of a man. All right, because the thing is, what if you come up to a man of the Lord and that the word of the Lord is actually being brought out, maybe, you know, harsh or rough, so to speak. You know, maybe he's using a lot of rude language, but the message is correct. But if someone comes up teaching, you know, in like a lowly voice, in a calm and soothing voice, you know, that's things, I don't know, tingling sensations in your ears and whatnot, you know, making you feel comfortable, and are saying all types of smooth things, right? But the Lord spoke against that. Though there would be, you know, smooth things, they're deceits.
I have the precept.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 30:10. No, I'm gonna start at 9. Actually, I'm gonna start at 8.
You get to the point.
Huh?
Get to the point.
Yeah, Isaiah 30:10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits.
Yeah, man. So it doesn't matter how it comes out. They don't care about the message ultimately. They just care about how How they gonna find that consolation? Because that's what it's about.
Like I say real quick, Salakia, because it says when you read up above, it says this is the rebellious people, because it's talking about Israel, which is doing that. You know, because Israel, Salakia, Israel doesn't want to hear that Esau is going down. You know, when I say Israel, I'm talking about the 2/3, the ones that actually don't want that to happen, because the elect will want it to happen. The elect do want it to happen, okay? And we believe to be the hopeful elect. Mm-hmm. And what you see, the rebels, the rebels of our nation, the 2/3 club. All right, you see, they like the pastors, man. They like the Islam. They love those things because they telling them, oh, be happy, love, peace. You know, prosper here in America. That's what they want to hear. They love that shit, man.
But it's the wrong message.
Yeah, but what do our elders and apostles tell us? What do our teachers tell us? What do our masters tell us? They tell us, hey, man, this place is going down, man. Mm-hmm. All right, and the Lord's gonna chasten us, man, and we have to go through things, and we have to bear the indignation. We have to go through all these things to get the kingdom. Yeah. To get to the good part, we have to go through the bitter. That's the truth. Because you see, these people, they just want the sweet. They don't want to know about taking the bitter before getting to the good part. You know, they want the kingdom. They want to live however they want to live here, and then die and go to the kingdom because that's what they think it is. You know?
Yeah, they're stuck into their own paths.
Yeah.
So we can get to Isaiah 56.
Yep. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 56, and I'm gonna start at verse 10. Salakia. Yeah, Isaiah 56 and 10. His watchmen are blind; they are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs.
Yeah. Well, hey, the Lord called us. No, yeah, it's cool. The Lord called us watchmen. You know, we're supposed to be giving status reports to the nation of Israel. You know,
if I could say, but we're the watchmen that are not holding their peace day or night.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference because it said here they are dumb dogs, right? Mm-hmm. But that means not to speak, right? Because it says they cannot bark. Yeah, because, for example, these preachers, they don't tell you, and some of them do. Some of them do tell you that, you know, about tribulation that's going to come, because some of them do. You know, when I was younger, I went to church, they told us about that, but they told us that we were going to get raptured or some shit, you know? Something that's not in the scriptures, which the word rapture is not in the scriptures.
So they're missing percentages of the truth.
Yeah, if I could say, because what it says here, while his watchmen are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs, they cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Because what? Ultimately, these other false anointeds out here, they're not warning you. Right, they're not warning you. They're not telling you that Jacob's trouble is coming for you Israelites.
Not being instant.
Yeah, and then that's all good. And they're not telling. Yeah, that's another one. They're not being instant, in season, out of season. They're not telling you that Jacob's trouble is coming and that's going to come upon all of us, man. They're not telling you that we're going to be here for the tribulation. You know, I believe IUIC teaches that, if I'm not mistaken. You know, verse 11. Mm-hmm. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. Yeah, and you can see that, man. Creflo Dollars, TD Snakes, to destroy Jakes, TD Jakes, whatever his name is, man. You know, these men out here, man, they're greedy as hell, man.
I remember lavishly too.
Yeah, living really lavishly, man. Their kids going on, their kids go to private schools and such, man. They are shepherds that cannot understand. Yeah, because men, they don't have understanding. They lack wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. They might have some knowledge, but they lack the wisdom and the understanding. The scriptures say, with all that getting, get understanding, man. They cannot understand. That cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. Yeah, they're looking to satisfy themselves, man, their own belly, man. They're looking to take your money, man. They're looking to tell you what you want to hear, man.
Right.
You know? And that's the thing, man. That's why people, a lot of Israelites, they lose faith in the scriptures because they think that the preacher is the faith of Salakia. They think that a preacher, a pastor in a church, a so-called pastor in a church is the face of the man supposed to be teaching, but that's not the case, man. The real teachers are on the streets, man. Starting with our elders and apostles.
That's right.
You know, the real Salakia. The scriptures say that the priest's lips should keep knowledge, right? Well, guess what, man? Those pastors inside them churches ain't no priests, man. All right, they're false pastors, man. False prophets, man. The men that you see out there teaching the word, man. Our elders and apostles, starting with them, they've been doing it for decades, man. They're the real priests, man. They're the high priests. They're the ones that are truly leading correctly, man.
Yeah.
They're the ones breaking down the scriptures properly and such, man.
Yeah. If I may add too, I mean, like the bro mentioned, like these false pastors in these churches, they're not even teaching you your nationality. That's like remember the brother mentioned being a babe, right? That's like the first thing you learn. You're an Israelite, you know. Mm-hmm. If you're a Hispanic, if you're a so-called black man, if you're a so-called Native American man, you come from this tribe, that tribe. They're not even teaching you that.
Yeah, actually, we go as far as to if you don't even look like one of us.
Oh man.
You know, that's how deep the spirit can go, man. You know,
yeah.
there's people that have come up that don't even look like a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, but then with time and through the Spirit, we find out who they truly are, man. All right, we try the Spirit with the Spirit with the Word, man.
So that was it.
Real quick, because it said, you know, basically this was talking about the greedy dogs, which Salakia, his watchmen are blind, you know, like it said in verse 10, because what? Right now you see Salakia, you see these preachers out here, they're supposed to be, you know, they're supposed to be the watchmen, but they're not being watchmen. You know, they're not looking out for prophecies. They're not doing these things, man. You know, they're not being diligent to teach you. You know, they might go to church every Sunday and not miss a Sunday, but they're not teaching you the right thing anyway. So it's pointless. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, I got one more piece just to end it off.
Yeah.
This is Jeremiah 14:14. Then the Lord said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them. You know, and real quick, just like it says in Matthew, you might have camps out there that know the Israelites, and they might even say Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, you know, B'Hashem Kakadash. All perfectly. The doctrine might be good, but at the end of the day, like, it comes down to the truth. It all comes down to the truth. And the fact that there is a truth, that tells you that there's a bunch of lies.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And that's what these other camps, these false prophets, false anointed, they all have that one crack in their doctrine, right? It's always a nasty lie, all right? It just messes up the whole thing, all right? So it has to be 100% truth.
Yeah, ultimately they don't have that thawa.
Right.
You know, the exemption from judgment, because what they don't have that they don't have the unspotted doctrine, you know?
Yep.
They have holes, they have leaven.
Yeah, they're not teaching.
Like the Shar said.
Yeah, they're not teaching according to the Lord's heart.
Yep.
Verse 14. Then the Lord said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them, neither spake unto them. They prophesy unto you a false vision and divination, and a thing of naught and the deceit of their heart.
Yep.
False divinations, false visions. Oh, I had a dream. You know, I had a vision. The Lord sent me a vision. You know, they might just start talking smack about Great Millstone or any of the brothers. You know, whatever it may be. Right? These demons are demons. You know. Continuing on, one last verse, verse 15. Therefore thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. You know, and the Lord has a very, very funny, really good sense of humor, right? Because, you know, they could say all types of things, and the Lord just might just pull a 180, and that might just be the judgment, you know? And like written earlier in one of the early precepts in Jeremiah, all right, woe be unto those wicked pastors that scattered the Lord's flock. Because if you are doing these things, you're leading your flock, the sincere sheep, onto a damn cliff. All right, and it's nothing but it's gonna be a bitter end. You know, just like it says in Proverbs. You know, although it seems, although that way that you choose may seem good unto you, but really it's just a bitter end. You know, roughly paraphrasing.
If I could read this real quick. This is the last precept.
Yeah,
well. Ezekiel 33:6. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. And a quick example of a watchman that's not blowing the trumpet is, I think they're under Zabak too, man. What is it called? I forgot what they're called, man. It was the dude, the Chief Ephraim guy. Remember, he gave a real roundabout answer about the microchip. You know, he couldn't be straight up. And guess what, man? That's just being wicked, man. Because guess what? That's a huge thing.
Life and death prophecy.
Yeah, that's a life and death thing, man. And guess what? You decided to just go around it.
Beat around the bush.
Yeah, he was beating around the bush, man. He said, I believe that all the Caesar Borgia and the image and then this and that. And it's like, well, we broke it down at camp not too long after I believe it was like the day after or a few days after or the week after he said that we broke down the difference. But I believe I think it was the elder, the big bro Yashawan, but he broke down the difference between the image and the mark.
It was an HOI member. But,
but the point is what? That's an example of someone that's not blowing the trumpet. All right, because instead of giving you the straight skinny and telling you what it really is, he went around the question, man. He read it or gave you a roundabout answer. He couldn't give you a straightforward answer. That's him not blowing the trumpet.
Yeah.
So
you abandon your post, you know, and they said that the Lord's gonna require.
It said that. Okay. But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. Verse 7. We'll finish with this one. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. which
Yeah.
mean which the Lord told us to consume the whole roll, and we're supposed to teach the whole thing.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, it's vice versa. You know, if they don't, if these false prophets don't even do their job as being a demon,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, nonetheless, therein is a bitter one. But we got to do our job as well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
warn the people, give them warning from Him. You know, according to His heart, teach them the truth. Because if we don't, it's gonna be our bottom too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna be a bitter end. You know, and then, you know, so. With that, Lord's willing, that was edifying. Again, we want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to
Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Ruach
Again, double honors to the apostles and elders that gave most on the GMS who were well
Mhm.
and will tell us this truth. Peace and salutations being to your fellow Akim, your brothers that are also pushing out this word and true faith and its sincerity. And so with that, we're going to say Shalom.
Shalom.